Hi friends, Zoe here. So if you guys watched my previous video, I told you all that I'm moving to Italy for a year and I'm going to be moving to Rome. So this video is all about my working holiday visa. So I had the most interesting process when getting my working holiday visa, which is with an agreement between Canada and Italy. Anybody under the age of 30, and I think it's like age 18 to 30, can apply for a working holiday visa, which means that you can move to Italy for a year and work for a maximum of 6 months. So I did some research online and realized that this was the best visa for me. I know there are other visas like the Schengen visas, which allow you to move and work freely throughout the Schengen states, which is a certain amount of countries in Europe if you aren't familiar. But I felt like the working holiday visa was the best one for me because I wanted to situate myself in a certain place, and that place is Rome, and I wanted to be able to build a little bit of a new home there. With the working holiday visa, there are certain requirements. There is an application form online you need to fill out. You need to show proof of $3,500 in your checking account for the past 3 months, and so you'll print off bank statements from the past 3 months just showing that. You're going to have to show credit cards with access to sufficient amount of funds. You're going to have to show what I thought was a one-way ticket or proof of a round-trip ticket, but you can't book a year in advance, so that's a bit difficult, and I'll touch on that in a minute. You also had to have a passport photo, a valid passport for the entire year plus 3 months, 3 to 6 months after that. And you need to show proof of where you're going to stay. So whether this be with family, a friend, or a hostel or hotel, you just need to show proof of where you're going to stay for the first part of your trip. So let's talk about my appointment at the consulate, because that's what I really want to talk to you guys about, because it kind of was a little bit crazy. For the working holiday visa, you have to make an appointment at the consulate, the Italian consulate in Toronto. This isn't an easy appointment to get. You have to wait online, and actually a woman that I spoke to who was there in the office with me, she needed a visa quite fast, and she ended up having to pay $200 to $300 to get herself in. So if this is something that you're considering, say in the next 3 to 4 months, I would click online and make an appointment right now, because you can cancel it free of charge. It doesn't cost anything to make this appointment, but it is very difficult to get one, and the time slots do fill up quite quickly. So make yourself an appointment. So I had everything that I needed within my application and then some. Instead of having one passport photo, which I needed, I had 6 just in case. I had photocopies of absolutely everything. I think I forgot to mention travel insurance. You need to show proof of travel insurance for a year. So anything that I had photocopy doubles of that. I had extra things like my birth certificate, I had a resume, I had a cover letter. I just had anything and everything that I could have needed. I just wanted everything to go perfectly. So my appointment was first thing in the morning at the consulate, and I was so nervous going in there. It was everything that I wanted, and I just really wanted it to come to fruition, and I had prepared myself and thought about it and felt like I was manifesting it for so long. So I'm sitting in the office, and I have, like I told you, everything I needed more in this little folder case that I had, and I was super nervous to the point I'm sitting there, and as soon as I sit down in this room, after I've gone through the security at the consulate, all over the walls is no debit, credit, cash only, no debit, credit, cash only, no debit, credit, cash only. And I didn't bring cash. I thought they would take credit or debit. I was seriously so prepared, and I didn't bring any money. And for a Canadian to apply for this working holiday visa, just to apply, not to get, to apply for this visa is $168. I think something like that. It's $168, $170. So I'm sitting there and I'm going through all my things, and then I just got this huge wave of nervousness that I am not prepared. Zoe, how could you not think of getting cash out? You thought of absolutely everything. You have 6 passport photos here and you didn't bring cash. Like, what are you thinking, girl? And so I'm sitting there, I'm super nervous, and this other woman walks in. She sits down beside me and just so kind, and she's like, oh, are you applying for a visa? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how about yourself? She's like, oh, I'm just here to pick up. I was here last week. And she was a woman who paid $200 to $300 to get in very quickly because she booked a kind of a spontaneous trip with her family, and she could tell that I was nervous. So she was talking to me, and I told her, I'm like, I can't believe that I forgot to bring cash, and I don't know what to do now. Do you think I can leave? Do you think I can leave and run to the bank right now and come back? And she's like, I don't know. Like, my appointment was half an hour later than they said, but if they call your name and you're not here, that's it. So I was nervous. I was like, I hope he lets me leave and come back with the money. I don't know what to do. So I'm looking through my papers again and just making sure that I have everything, kind of OCD like that. All of a sudden, she hands over $200 to me. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And she says, yes, like, it will calm your nerves. Don't worry, here you go. And gave me $200, okay? How kind is that? So I sent her the money afterwards, and like I took her email and just, thank you so much. Her name is Christian. Christian, if somehow you wind up looking on YouTube one day and you stumble across me, you are a guardian angel. Like, I just truly feel like, you know, I really truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I feel like it's rare that you come across people who are so generous to strangers like that. I am so thankful for her. So she gives me $200, and so I wired it to her after I left the consulate. But anyway, so my appointment comes, he is late, and so my nerves are just going. I'm standing there, I give him all my papers, and he was super critical of everything, asking me lots of questions. And in this room, when you apply for the visa, you are in front of everybody else who's waiting for the visas as well. So it's not a private occurrence, it is very public. So any of the questions he's asking me, and I was trying to answer them the best I could. And finally, after 20 minutes of going through all my papers, he is like, where's your ticket? So I hand him my one-way ticket that I booked to Rome, and he's like, where's the other one? So what do you mean the other one? He's like, no, you need 2 tickets. And I was like, I couldn't book a trip a year in advance. He's like, no, you need to buy a ticket and then you can push it backwards. No, I have everything and I don't have this. I don't know what to do. So I was super nervous, and he's like, listen, miss, you know what? I'm going to let you leave and you can go buy the ticket right now and you come back. So I was out of there in a second. I flew out of that consulate. By the way, it's Toronto summer right now. It has been extremely hot. So it was like 30 degrees outside. I go on my phone. I MapQuest the nearest flight center, which is a travel agency. And it is on Queen West. So that is about a 10-minute walk. I am running down the street in a dress. Running down the street in a dress. Like, so humid, like so sweaty. And I'm like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, I don't know. I'm like, finally get to Queen West. I'm like going up and down and around the block, and I'm like, where is this flight center? Where is this flight center? So I go into a currency exchange, so I'm like, that's kind of like travel-y. So I go into the currency exchange and I ask, where's flight center? And she's like, oh, flight center moved out of here in 2012. I'm like, Google Maps, why aren't you updated? So she's like, what do you need? And I was like, I just need to find the nearest flight center. I need to book a trip. I'm trying to get a visa right now. I don't know what to do. So she Googles the nearest flight centers to me and finds one at King and Young. So I hail a cab. I hop in the cab. Uber wasn't working. The one time when I just could have really used an Uber, I took a cab. So I hopped in the cab, flies me over to Young and King. I'm on the phone in the cab. I'm like, listen, I need a flight from Rome to Toronto as far in advance as you can book it. Just book it for me. I'll be there. I'll pay for it in a minute. Blah, blah. So I hop out of this cab. I go into the agency. The gentlemen there were so nice. They helped me book my flight as far in advance as I could. So it's, I have a flight July 20-something from Rome to Toronto, which I can move back. So I book this flight, hail a cab again, back to the consulate, back in there, have to wait in line to go through security again, have to wait and go into the visa room, which is such a stressful room for me. So I went to the visa room and I'm sitting there, I go up there, I give him the flight, and he's like, you booked it? And I was like, yeah, I booked it. And he's like, no, you shouldn't have booked it. You just should have got a reservation. And I had asked the gentleman at the agency to maybe just book me a reservation so I didn't have to drop, hundreds of dollars on this flight. But they're like, no, we can't print anything unless you book. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like everything is kind of meant to be here. I didn't have the $200. A stranger gave it to me. I didn't have this flight back to Canada. So going to the agency, I'm like, you know what, just book it. I want everything and more that I can have to make sure that this visa goes through. Anyways, he starts questioning me about buying this. He's like, no, you shouldn't have done that, miss. You don't need to do that. You just need to print it off. I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Just here's everything that I have. Take it out of my hands, and let's just hope for the best. I can't even describe to you the emotions that I was feeling. It was like, I just wanted to like burst into tears, but that wasn't even possible because I was just sweating, running around the city, like in these cabs, booking these, like, it was just a whirlwind, okay? I leave the consulate and I'm just like, oh man, like, next level. Anyways, I went home and I feel like for the next week while I was waiting to hear my response about the visa, I was kind of a mess. like, not a mess, like I wasn't upset or anything, but I was like, wow, my entire future is in the universe's hands. I actually quit my job before I had the visa, so yeah, my life is in the universe's hands. I live in one of the most expensive cities in Canada, and I don't have a job. I have a one-way ticket to Rome, and that's about it. I don't have like tens of thousands of dollars or anything saved, so this was quite the stressful week, like, let me tell you. And so the next week I go back to visit the consulate, which they told me to come back on Tuesday or Wednesday, but I don't know if you guys get this feeling too, but whenever I really want to know the results of something, I had the same situation in university. I wanted to know about a test. I wanted to know, but I didn't want to know. Like, if I knew the grades were up, I wanted to check them, but I like almost wanted to just cover my eyes and just peek and then close them again. I don't know how to describe this feeling. So I was told I could go back to the consulate on Tuesday or Wednesday, but I actually went on Thursday because I just wanted to make sure that I was going there and it was for sure going to be done. And I wanted to go on a day when I felt confident. I was a bundle of nerves Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like, you know, trying to wrap things up on my job and just stressing about my future. And so I finally woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I'm ready to go to the consulate. And this was this past Thursday. So I went to the consulate, I Ubered there, and I waited again finally. And so I went up to that gentleman again, and I was like, hi, I'm back, like, do you remember me? And he's like, oh yes, miss, like 1 minute. I gave him my receipt. That's how they know which visa is yours. So he went back, and I hear him like stapling things, and I'm like, he's stapling things. Maybe he's stapling for my visa, or maybe he's stapling like rejected. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, everything was in such slow-mo. And so he comes back over and he hands me my passport. There you go, miss. And like hands me my visa. I'm like, this is it? And he's like, yes, this is it. I'm like, I can move to Italy? And he's like, you can move to Italy? And I'm like, I could go to Italy? And then there's like a bunch of people waiting in line for their visas, and they were like kind of like giggling at me, but I was just so thankful, so grateful. And so I left the consulate and I got outside, and I literally was like, thank you. Like, thank you, anybody who played a part in this, my guardian angel with the $200. Like, I just feel like everything happened for a reason. Me running around the city, booking that flight, just doing whatever it took to get this, because I really put all my avocados in one basket. And I can't even describe to you guys like how excited I am. So I leave in 3 weeks. By the time you guys are watching this video, just less than 3 weeks. And so I have 3 weeks to get rid of all my stuff, finish up at my job, tie everything together, and package up, you know, a suitcase full of the only things that I'll own and move to Rome. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks, but I'm going to document here and there for you guys. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a Q&A video. So just toss all your questions about moving to Italy, moving to Rome, and I'd be happy to answer them. But I thought that this video might be useful to anybody who wants to get a working holiday visa. And I have one last thing to mention, and that is a quote by Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist. I don't want to butcher it, but I believe the proper way to say it is, when you decide that you want something, the whole universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And I feel like I made the decision a couple months ago that I was not happy in my current situation, my current life situation, and I knew that I'm the only person who could make this change. So I decided that I was going to go after the one thing, like I told you, that I have wanted for so long, that the only thing I can think about that I've just, you know, I've desired to have. I've mentioned it a few times to you guys just about how this is my dream, and I hadn't previously done anything to go on this dream. I really just wanted to go back to Europe, and I go on little vacations here and there, Mexico and the States and down in the Caribbean, but I didn't save the money that I needed to go to Europe. I didn't make the decisions, make little changes here and there to do such a big move to Europe, to go over on an extended vacation to Europe. So I feel like when you really decide, when you really put, like I said, all your avocados in one basket, and you decide to just let the universe kind of catch you, everything will work out for you. I can't describe to you how terrifying it was to quit my corporate job that, like I said, I had gone to school for, I'd worked for my entire life. I got my dream job. I was right where I needed to be, but I wasn't fulfilled. and that's a very scary feeling. So I just realized that I need to make a change, or else I was going to be an unhappy person, a bitter person. So this is something that I truly felt like I had to do for myself. Anyways, this is my working holiday visa story, and if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe below. Like I mentioned, leave all your questions. I'll be happy to answer them. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!